Hello everyone and welcome back to the Refresh Step, where you recover yourself for the main step. I'm your host for today, tomorrow, and the foreseeable future, Theodore. And I'm with the hottest battler in the UK and admin of the Battlespace English Wiki, Ayu. Alright. I guess it's given. I mean, like, if you have been here the past few episodes, I kind of forgot that Ayumu needs to go for a vacation basically for the whole week until he will be back for the Liverpool Grand Open. So yeah, today will probably just be a 30 minutes episode, kind of like a short episode just for me to kind of blabber around because I forgot to schedule everything. Unfortunately, we were pretty much knackered after the PTN Grand Open in Utrecht. So yeah, we kind of went on with our lives after we went home, and especially since after that Amamiya was also staying at my place. So okay, so we had 2 days. We only had 2 days, so kind of have to make it how to say, you kind of have to make the most out of it. So it was a pretty intense 2 days when Amamiya was here. So after that, I was like, yeah, kind of wanted to rest. And then like the day of the recording, as the one day before Ayumu needs to go for his vacation, and I was so knackered that I accidentally fell asleep. But yeah, anyway, enough of the excuses. I don't think that can be excused though. We have done this for more than 3 seasons of anime, and now I need to step my game up. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the venue for because I kinda wanted to talk about my experience, since I think it's basically my first time having to go to events back to back, since even from back then in Indonesia, I pretty much focus on one game, Cardfight Vanguard. And yeah, even if there is a back-to-back event, it's probably going to be on the same day. So it's probably going to be, okay, so Saturday it's going to be the English version. And then Sunday it will be the Japanese version. Because, yeah, I kind of like that game a little bit too much. I actually played in both versions. Think at some point I also played Buddy Fight. So if for some reason they scheduled both languages for Vanguard at the same day, then I will probably pick the Japanese version of Vanguard and then play Buddy Fight on the second day. A little bit sad thing is, Watch Wars didn't really pick up before I left. So after I left, Watch Wars actually pick up, and now we have more tournaments than ever. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, like, the fact that the PTNGO was in Utrecht was a little bit of blessing in disguise. A little bit of, how to say, it's a little bit of kind of, how to say, I don't know how to describe this feeling in English, although English is basically my second language now. But yeah, let's see, how do I describe this? Kinda need Ayumu now. Kinda need to bounce. So if I fell silent, it's probably because I am expecting that the shadow Ayumu will be responding to me. Of course, he is not here. There's no shadow Ayumu. There's no one to help me with my English when I forget words. But yeah, I mean, like, because of some scheduling mistakes, the Grand Open Wave 3, the second Grand Open Wave 3, which are supposed to be held on December in Germany, was cancelled because it was scheduled on the same day as the Pro Tour for Wave 3. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. They replaced it with the Liverpool Grand Open that will be happening this weekend, which I fortunately cannot go at the moment because, yeah, my passport is a little bit too weak. And not to mention that prior to this, I scheduled my passport extension to be basically one on the same and basically the same day as when I recorded this. So yeah, I just got back from Frankfurt. It's a nice day trip. Could have brought my laptop though. I turns out I have more spaces than I needed to work. Cannot want to finish one video that I made with Amamiya, and then I can bring my laptop, but I'm going to Frankfurt. It's a big city. There's always stress involved with going to big city, especially with big city that you are not really familiar with. And then yeah, as much as there is time, so there's it's a 2 hour train, right? So there, as much as there are time, maybe it's not going to be that comfortable to be working in, especially since with editing, if I can use 2 monitors, it's going to be a little bit smoother. Not really smooth, but yeah, basically I have all the space that I need. But of course, if I am editing on the road, then it's going to be a little bit less comfortable. But it can work if I have a table, which if I did not get the big table, it would probably be less comfortable. And then guess what? I didn't even reserve any seat. And then I just jump on a random train, which is a second class, by the way. So it's not even first class train. And then just jump on one. And then like the whole car, this whole one car of train has tables in it. And I'm not talking about like the small table that they have in airplanes that where you can eat your meals at. It's a full size table that if you come with other people, there are seats that are like basically like the family seats. So basically they have like this big table and then there's 4 seats facing each other basically. You can even play some board games there, even if you have a longer trip. So yeah, it's a really comfortable table to be working in. Unfortunately, I did not bring my laptop, so I can't do that. And then okay, the only lie that I say to myself, yeah, I mean like this train, because it was going from my city to Duisburg, it's probably a little bit calmer. Like there's no one. Like the moment we reach Cologne, lots of people just come in. There's actually a seat that is like an individual seat. I should have taken that. Although my seatmate was thankfully a pleasant person, so that is not that did not become an issue. But yeah. But anyway, when I go home, there might not be another table, so okay, I can get through this. And then guess what? The only seat that were available when I go back from Frankfurt is the family seat. Like there's this family seat of 4, and then like for some reason there's only this one guy sitting in it, and then like nobody else is sitting in front of him. So it's like, yeah, I mean I'm not going to stand up for 2 hours. Been there, done that in my trip to Karlsruhe. I personally don't want to do that if possible. So yeah, I got a big table on both of my trips. I could have finished that video. Will probably come out some time this week. But anyway, I'm getting way too distracted. Well, I mean, like Utrecht is really close to my city, so it was 2 hours by bus. So that is the blessing in disguise. I particularly don't need too much trip to go there basically. Which Amami actually suggested, like, yeah, since it's just 2 hours away, why don't we just take a train there on the day and go back at night to your place and sleep there so we can save on accommodation, he said. Well, it's not going to be that simple, isn't it? Because like if you wanted to make it like actually affordable, I'll probably need to take the bus. And yeah, it's a really pretty weird combination, right? Utrecht, while it's really close to Amsterdam, it's not really the main city. Duisburg, although really close to Düsseldorf, it's also not a main city. So like, how do you connect these two dots together? Usually, you pass through them. So well, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know how economically significant Utrecht is. It's a really chill city, like if you compare it to Duisburg. But anyway, don't think like it's these two cities are not supposed to connect with each other, kind of thing. And they have like a direct connection between these two cities, but there's only like 2 trips a day. So like you miss it, then you'll have to basically go to Amsterdam and then take the bus back. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be viable because we'll have to go to Amsterdam first, probably in the morning. Even the morning bus to Amsterdam, it's going to be pretty horrible as well. I think like the earliest is like 6 a.m. Like, do I really want to? Especially since day one usually ends at like around 6 or 7. So do I really want to take the bus at around 8 or 9? And then the bus from Utrecht at night is at 5 p.m. The latest bus from that goes from Utrecht to Duisburg is at 5 p.m. So I'll probably have to go to Amsterdam, and which also the latest reasonable bus leaves at 7:30. So that's going to be a real logistical nightmare because I'll have to run from the venue. But just although it's close to the Utrecht Central, probably needs around 15 to 25 minutes to go to Amsterdam. And then I'll have to run into the bus, the international bus stop goes to Duisburg for 2 to 3 around 3 hours. So then I would reach Duisburg at around 11, go back to my house, which will take around 30 minutes, give or take, because it's evening in Germany. There's not much tram options left, and I'll probably have to take the tram that requires me to walk another 10 minutes to my house. So I'll probably reach my house at around 11, the earliest, and then I have to sleep, and then I can sleep if I want, and then I have to wake up at around 4 or 5, and then went straight to Duisburg main station to take the bus back to Amsterdam at 6 a.m. and then take another train to Utrecht. So probably going to be there at around 10, and it's like 4 hours of trip every. So even 4 hours, like 8 hours of trip every day. Yeah, I don't think I want. I don't think I want to do that anytime soon. Now that I think more about it, if we both can drive and we can kind of like switch places, I think it will be much more reasonable. I think it's pretty much a drivable distance, probably 3 hours from end to end. So maybe not as bad. Maybe copium. And I never drove myself, so it's totally copium. My goodness. Nggak ya. I mean, like, I've been like, the reason why I wanted to talk about the PT and the GOs basically because again, this is the first time I join an event like the week after the week, unless I forgot a certain Vanguard tournament because I joined so much it kind of blended in for me. But yeah, kind of wanted to make a separate video for this, but like, yeah, Ayumu cannot make it. I can't make it on time, and like, yeah, why not? And then it just clicks, isn't it? like now I have the chance to kind of talk about how my personal thoughts about the Pro Tour and the Grand Open. I was like, yeah, there's the stream. People may like it, people may not like it. I personally feel quite okay with it. I think Ross and Touch did a really good job. Cause like again, getting the knowledge in the game is really important. I think that's something that they can work on. But like there's something about their voice that is so charming. I pretty enjoyed it as like if I just take away my knowledge as a Battle Spirits player and then like just listen to them. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to understand like what is going on. Although again, the focus is more, I think, to get people who are not into Battle Spirits to kind of get interested in the game. Then accuracy, I think, like when they are actually invested, they wanted to learn more, then I think the community can handle that. But yeah, the problem is when we just wanted to have someone who has the knowledge but probably not used to commenting, then that will probably be better for players who actually know the game, but probably will be a little bit harder to understand for people who are not yet into the game, kind of thing. Of course, if I was given the chance, I would probably jump on it. But to be fair, like most of my audience probably already understand about Battle Spirits. They already have interest in Battle Spirits. Most of Ayumu's audience will probably be the same. I think it's a pretty good move for them to kind of bring it to Ross's channel, to bring more people who are generally into this kind of games. So yeah, I think I talked about the PT mostly on the previous episode because I was biased. I was really amazed by the stream setup because like yeah, the stream setup for me, especially since I come from Indonesia, when like the Indonesian Vanguard scene, when live streaming itself at that time, live streaming like the whole event itself was not really common. So I kind of got away from it, just basically just streaming the game as they go, like no commentary, no music, no nothing, just the players playing, like how the crowds are going, and then I just streamed that for 3-4 hours, and then like the the biggest complaint I received will be like, man, these are why are this so laggy? Like why can't you just record this? Like I am doing that. I will be releasing that in a few days, but yeah, please play. And then like yeah, going from that to actually seeing like they have like an actual video crew and everything, it's like, oh, this is just me being a noob. But like, damn, this is something else. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe if I go to more European events in the future, I will probably see this more. I actually never been to like the big event for Vanguard here. I think I went to a Spring Fest, but it's held in a shop, so it's not really the definition of extravagant. Although they did like kind of like the top cut in another room, so they probably have prepared that. I just can't see it. Yeah, this is like, because this is basically they rented 2 function rooms next to each other, and then like there's basically one room for the Swiss and then like one room for the streaming, like they did. So basically you can just take a pic at the stream and then like, oh it was moving to see it for the first time. I will probably not be as moved in my next experiences, so I'll want to revel in this. How to say? There's feelings for a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, like and then speaking back about my fidget match, I think it's a little, it's a really, it was a personal favorite of mine because like Alex, Alex was, shout out to Alex because he was like he was a really great player as well. Probably personally it will forever be one of my imposter syndrome that I got to win against him once. I think he also said that himself, like, yeah, I think if you reach this point, you only won twice at this point, but it is but you are still strong enough to win 2 matches like at the first, so it's like, yeah. Thank you, Alex. That's a pretty good ego boost, I think. More into like, yeah, I think like sometimes you don't need to, how to say, be too hard on yourself, as Ayumu said last time. This is a card game. Sometimes there are luck involved. So, and I think I said it to myself actually that at the Pro Tour, at the level of Pro Tour, most of the people there are people who invested more of their time to the game. So you, even if you don't win now, I think you getting there, it's a great first step. It's a progress in your career in playing Battle Spirits. Hopefully it will be a long career. We all hope that it can be a long career. But yeah, anyway, back to the stream itself, because like Alex played Red Mid-range with Nova, and then I played my trusty Fable Piece deck. And then the fun part is Alex has Nova in his deck, so of course they put the Saga Rare Nova as the card that represents his deck. And then you go to my deck. I did not believe in any of the extras in set up until that point. So no Alice, no Behemoth. So they probably just look at my deck and then like, what does this guy even use? And then they just put Hippocampo to represent my deck. So it was a pretty endearing, like it was probably my most favorite part, my most favorite imagery in the whole in that whole section of the stream, because like you imagine like this gigantic, humongous, badass dragon that is the Silkworm Nova, and then across it you just see like this. It's just a pony in it. My God, that was a really that's a really fun imagery. It was like David versus Goliath. I mean, yes, I think thankfully I was able to make a lot of people entertained with how I perform in the game. So yeah, thank you guys. If you guys say that to me during the event, I might have been a little bit too tired to respond, but I really appreciate your comments. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think while I need to admit I was really lucky in that match, I probably have used all my luck, because like all my draw after that match was arguably much harder to play with. Although I did make some mistakes, I kind of shows my lack of preparation, because I think the thing that I always forget to prepare is to prepare for the time limit. As especially since most of my friends are playing purple, the game was pretty much always pretty fast. So always, whether I lose or I win, it's going to pretty much end at a pretty reasonable time frame. And I mean, like with white, I think it's pretty much predictable. I mean, like you can expect that you can get into timeout with white. Actually, got into timeout with red, and I think another yellow as well. And then I was being a little bit too greedy at one point, and I lost the time out basically, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that is the again at this level, I think even if you lose, you can only learn from it. There's no, you don't really lose anything at that point. How to say? Yeah, kind of have a note of what I felt about the venues and the event in general, and then like I have this one point just talking about no Indonesian food. Well, actually, there is an Indonesian food. It's pretty close to the venue. It's just that this time we got a hotel that is pretty far away from the venue, so it's a little bit harder to reach it. And even when we reach it, like this restaurant is more like a catering kind of restaurant. Like it's a strictly to-go restaurant. So we were looking to sit down. So at that time, okay, so let's get something else. Which is unfortunate. I kind of want to try it. It looks really bougie and it's really expensive. It's like 17 euro per portion, but like kind of want to try it out. But yeah. And speaking of getting a hotel that is far away, I think Ayumu has mentioned this in the previous episode, but we were pretty knackered pretty much every time because it was 30 minutes away, which we thought we could handle it. We could handle it if it's just one trip. Because like even in Den Haag, actually we just how to say, in Den Haag, the venue itself is around like no, it is not the matter of Den Haag, but it's because it's in Rijswijk. And actually like how do I put this? How do I do words? But basically the venue is in Rijswijk, and then the closest main station that we can access is Den Haag, which they are like 1 hour away. So like when I reached the venue with reached the Den Haag with Ayumu, I said it's 1 hour away walking. Let's just walk there. And he said like, why not? So we did. And then like we walked for 1 hour from Den Haag to Rijswijk in summer, in the end of summer, so it's still not a really fun experience. But the hotel itself is like basically in front of the venues. It's like like all the rest of our days are really comfortable. Like at this time, the venue is in Utrecht really near to Utrecht main station, but the hotel is like 30 minutes away from Utrecht main station. So you kind of have to reach Utrecht. We gathered in Utrecht main station, and then we walk to the hotel. Those 30 minutes, it felt miserable, and then it dawned on us, we have to do this basically every day now. So yeah, never again. And then the biggest reason on why we did that is basically because we found like the hotel, like there are two hotels, like there are really two big hotels, imposing hotels, like in front of Utrecht main station. And at some point, they were within our budget. But okay. So yeah, I mean like, I still have to wait for my how to say, still have to wait for my salary, Ayumu, and then we still have to discuss with all of our other roommates. Will be sharing, our other teammates that will be sharing the room with us, and then like okay, so let's do this like maybe next week. And then like the next week came, and then the room that is within our budget is gone. And it's gone. So yeah, that's the story. That's the basically what happened. So we have to find alternative that is still within our budget, which is like I think our budget's if possible below 150 per night. I think we spend like a total of we spent like 120 on the first trip and for the Pro Tour, and then 180 for the Grand Open. So it was actually really pricey, but even with the 30 minutes walk. So imagine if you wanted to do 5 minutes walk. My god. But yeah, Utrecht is surprisingly I'm also a little bit biased because I have to walk 30 minutes in Utrecht compared to the 5 minutes I have to do in Den Haag. That feels surprisingly walkable if there are no bikes, but the road were owned by bikes, so like actually like while the walking space is pretty comfortable, there are some really awkward walkways. So like basically like there are some parts of the street where if you wanted to walk, then you have to go to the extreme right, and then halfway through you have to cross the street, you have to cross the road to get to the extreme left where there is the only pedestrian space available, because the other spaces are for cars and bikes apparently. But other than that, it's pretty okay. It's still I only feel miserable because during the Pro Tour I have to carry my large suitcase. It only has 3 wheels, by the way. So it was broken, but I thought like, yeah, I mean like I brought it to Den Haag and it was pretty fine. Again, totally forgetting that my trip would be much longer and much more frequent. So yeah, that was the hole in my plan. And then in the end I even bought a new suitcase just to just because I was really frustrated, and turns out that that also didn't help that much, because yeah, the trip was a little bit too long. And then how to say, like they have more of the brick streets. Well, actually Germany also has the same amount of brick streets, so don't know why I'm complaining about that. But yeah, I think I am being a little bit too sensitive to like the small noises that feels grating to bring this wild suitcase in a brick street. But yeah, it's my personal problem, right? It's a skill issue on my ears. I think that's what Ayumu would probably say. And and then I forget if we have talked about this, but we also got kind of like a sneak preview of BSS03 on the second day, which is actually really nice. I think if they took more photos, that will probably be even nicer. I think while the stream itself is really great, the other the other documentation I think can be improved. I think you can see more photos from the venue. I wasn't sure whether I can take one or not, because yeah, this is Europe. People want to protect their privacy as much as they can, so you kind of have to ask everyone if they are okay with that. Which is, yeah, I kind of felt bad that in the Grand Open I basically asked for permission to kind of taking the video for the top cuts at least, which is still under process. And again, since Ayumu is going to holiday, we'll have to wait for him to come back so that we can commentate on it, because my setup was abysmal. We pretty much realized that we can do that like one day before the event. So it's like, oh, like I mean, like my equipment itself is still a little bit lacking. So yeah, that's the extent of what I can do at the moment. Probably need to get a longer cable extension. Probably I can stream it next time. Probably need to get another microphone and something that can split the microphone so can be closer to the players. I think like if I just use the audio SS, it's going to probably be pretty abysmal since it's a joint event, right? Like that is probably my biggest crime because like with the grand open, because like it's a joint event. Like they have like this big like big exhibition. Like the tournament area is basically closed kind of thing. So they have a separate area just for tournaments, which involves like not only PSS but also One Piece, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Flash and Plot. So like there's like speakers from all these games. So it's kind of like hard to tell like, okay, so is this an instruction for One Piece or is this the instruction for PSS? Because like there are multiple speakers. Not every one is every one of the speakers are well placed. So some of them can be a little bit hard to decipher. And then like I always wish like we can get more exposure by doing it during events, but yeah, I kind of regretted that now that I played in one myself. Yeah, I think like with Vanguard, right? We usually in Indonesia we usually do the events in a mall, like in the atrium of the mall, so people like normal people can get a really big exposure of Vanguard because like there's this huge banners, huge graphics of Vanguard, and then you see like this 100 to 400 nerds basically just looking it out from afar, and maybe one of their kids will be interested and they can inquire their local shop about that. So I think that is kind of like a positive. It's a really big advertisement for Vanguard. But yeah, with this, since they are close, and then there's not much graphic going on. Like I think the best graphic actually went as usual to Yu-Gi-Oh. Pretty much expected. PSS I think is still one of the better ones, regardless. But yeah, it's kind of like I don't I don't know. I think like with the area being closed off, and if it's closed off with like a banner or something, like just saying to people, okay, so this area during the tournaments, please don't get too close, kind of thing. But since they just boarded it up, I think it kind of loses the advantage of being exposed to the event. I think if they kind of like how to say, like separate the tournament area with something that is more visible, like yeah, those what do you call, like those pens that those pens that you use for queuing. I don't know what they call that. I always see that all my life, but I can't really describe what it is. But yeah, basically that I think that would give people chance, like normal people, chance to kind of like take a look at people playing the game, maybe see some graphics. So yeah, so they can actually be interested in the game, and then because like even even the boarding actually kind of does nothing because like nobody's guarding the entrance anyway. So like lots of people are actually going in, and there are families who are hungry and they saw empty tables. What do you think they will do? Of course, they will try to eat there. I think like at some point, like even one of our judges was like pretty is not having it, and then he just wrote in big capital letters, basically, "Do not eat here," and he just put it in like the last table for the pair for the PSS pairing. Basically, just to let people know, okay, so yeah, if you want to eat, you can use the empty tables, but please do not use the table that the players will be using, kind of thing. It's pretty reasonable. And yeah, I also give thanks to Longdao for winning the Pro Tour with yellow, but that last turn, the second last turn, but in his match, that I think it's kind of a spoiler, but you can watch everything, and I think everything is still up in Rosa's channel anyway, so you can just check Wusi. Is it Wusi or Wasi? My God, I kind of wanted to give a shout out, but I forgot his Wasi place. So basically, like the second to last turn, basically just so he to attack, and then Thorn Prison. Now you don't have blockers. And then like Lao just Longdao just casually, but I also have a Thorn Prison, so now so now you don't have attackers. So it's like, oh my God, that was extremely hype. I think I did a bad job in explaining it, but like everyone, when Longdao played this, when Atu played this Storm Prison, we already won. Oh, now Atu can win this, and then like Longdao played this Storm Prison, and it was like, oh. We wrapped it even further. Oh my God, that was a really hype moment for us. My God. You should. I think I did a bad job explaining it, so you should probably watch it yourself. My goodness. And yeah, well, and then back in, since I have moved to the Grand Open, I think I will probably mix some stuff a lot. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that is it I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that the Pro Tour and Grand Open being so close to each other. I think the reason why there are less European players coming to the Grand Open is probably going to be more complex. Of course, like players who perform that well to be able to go to the Pro Tour, it's probably going to be harder for them to also attend the Grand Open, because now even traveling between Europe, it's probably going to cost them a lot, and then and then you also have to face the fact that the hotels are really expensive during the Grand Open week for some reason. And then for those who are working, you probably get some day off to prepare for the Pro Tour, and then now you're asking your employer, can I get another day off because I have another tournament coming like the week after, and that's already close to the end of the year, so I guess they will probably also have more plans. They already have planned like weddings, holiday. Like if you already take your paid leave for something that you plan in December, then you already have nothing left for November, right? So it's probably more complicated than just, okay, it's really close to each other. So nobody's like, probably everybody's tired. But yeah, but also doesn't help that the PS03 basically releases on the same day as the Pro Tour, so kind of have to scramble for cards like the week right after, which depending on your financial situation can be pretty harsh as well. But the positive is like, yeah, now people who wants to come from the US can just come, stay for a week. If they can afford it, then join another event. So it's a pretty nice how to say, it's a pretty nice way for the both communities to actually interact with each other. Because I think the same problem will probably arise if you during the US Pro Tour, because like it can be pretty costly to go from Europe to the US. Probably not as much for other European players. As I have said multiple times, I have a unique situation of having an Indonesian passport, so I can't speak for everyone. But yeah, I think it's really nice to actually meet like the US players. I think you guys are really passionate, and I like that. Although there are some discussions that I might not be able to jump in. It's like, now I know like how I was not eavesdropping, but I was like I was kind of involved in the conversation between three Americans. If you guys know who you are, you know who you are. But basically, yeah, that from that one conversation alone, I experienced culture shock. My goodness. But yeah, how to say? Yeah, I think preparation itself, like I already talked about how it's like basically 1 week after, like the grand open was 1 week after BSS03 was released, so you kind of have to test in advance or just rush and test basically every day. That was what Ayumu did. I basically I always say that I am sick, but it's kind of to cut the chase. I mean, like it's kind of like a less of an actual illness and more like I was reaping what I sowed, basically. Like I was pretty busy with work before the Pro Tour, so like while I was able to pretty much sleep normally during the Pro Tour, I can't really expect that. Okay, so now my sleeping problems will just go away after the Pro Tour, and then I can prepare for the Grand Open normally. And then like the season was also changing. It's like the time where the temperature is ideal to sleep also changes. So yeah, basically what happens is when Ayumu is repairing, I can't get up after that because I basically was pretty much that as in I slept and I no matter how they woke me up, I just can't wake up, and then like because I slept for so long at night I can't fall asleep. So of course at night Ayumu is not awake to test with me. Like okay, so this is awkward timing. Not to mention that my sore throat actually got worse. Yeah, it was pretty harsh. I did not know how I was able to survive the previous episode of Refresh Step with that. Yeah. Well, what else? Like yeah, I think I've said about my biggest crime of the Grand Open, but yeah, I think like the Grand Open also, I think because the venue was surprisingly small and way too big for at the same time. I think the judges were pretty much divided between judging for Battle Spirits and One Piece, and which is not a problem. The problem I think is more like because the venue, while venue that is allocated for each game is pretty much reasonable, because the venue is merged, like the distance between you and the judge table is really long, so it can feel a little bit hard to catch the communication, especially since again the speakers were not really well located, and then like I don't know, they did not provide enough screens, I guess. Like I think they don't know which logistical bottleneck caused us, but like there's not enough screens for each game. I think again we have tournaments from 4 games and we have only 2 screens for the timeout, so it's like if you play BSS then you kind of have to we're kind of sacrificed to check our own time. But just a little bit it's a non-problem, but still feels it feels a little bit how to say, it feels a little bit sad, especially since again the speakers can be pretty challenging to listen to. I think they kind of fixed it on the second day, but that's pretty much already too late. I think most of the tournament, I think only one game left that kind of requires the speaker. Like I think all other games are either already finished or their tournaments, or they are only having a top cut, so it's not like organizing it by mouth is not an issue. You need a speaker on the first day where most people will be there. But yeah, it is what it is. I think now that we know, we can only improve from here. Hopefully for the next year. And yeah, especially since if you're in Europe, I think we forgot to. Not that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, like, yeah, the from refresh step alone, I think it will not be enough to invite everyone. But like, again, if you are in Europe, I think Battle Spirits can be pretty tiring at times. But yeah, if you are tired, just take a break. It's fine. It's hopefully we can be a strong enough community where you can just take a break where you want, and you can just go back whenever you want to come back to us. My God, I think it's a pretty important for the community to be always there kind of thing, because like, yeah, your life, I think you can have like lots of priorities in your life. I think at the moment for me, card game can be a pretty high on my priority list because I am still single and everything. But I know that sometime in the near future, I'll have a job. I'll probably have to prioritize that. Still don't know what life will bring me. What if I ended up being not single anymore and ended up having too much people in my house that I need to take care of? Like at that point, maybe I can't put card game in the front seat anymore. But yeah, I do wish that one day both Battle Spirits and Battle Spirit Saga can have a strong enough community. We can refresh it with new people, so that, yeah, it's okay if you feel tired with the game. Just take a break. If you love the game, you can come back whenever you want. Even if you just, okay, so maybe I have time like to play one game every 3 months, then come back every 3 months. It's fine. Kind of want that. I think in the ideal world will be like that. Like I think like when the younger players that can invest more times and want to invest more time should be able to invest more time, while the older players who can only invest some time can invest that some time to actually have fun in the game. Yeah, I mean like it's it's idealistic and it's really fake, but yeah, I think it's a really nice future to have. But yeah, I mean like I did have my complaints. There are some nitpicks. But I do as someone who has managed at one point, although unprofessionally, a tournament myself. Yeah, I know that the logistics can be hard. Like even at that in that one unofficial tournament, we were pretty small. I think it's probably 30-50 player size. And then like one of my friend kind of like helped me to get the venue. And that's also like, even then, like, okay, so you have to manage the registration, you have to manage the pricing, you have to manage. And actually, we kind of almost forgot to get the trophy. And then also because I kind of wanted to get a laser engraved acrylic trophy, which surprisingly was not easy to get in Jakarta. So we ended up asking my partner at that time, who were making the tournament with me, to just go to since he has more free time, he just went through all these shops and get like a trophy that is decent enough. I mean, like we would have wanted a much more symbolic trophy, but yeah, I guess with our limited time and limited budget, that's the best that we can get. So yeah, that's a little story. But yeah, anyway, like even managing at that small scale, it was already pretty tough. So yeah, I guess managing it at a much larger scale, it will be of course much more challenging. So yeah, thank you very much for the tournament organizers for both the Pro Tour and the Grand Open. Sorry if I complain a little bit too much, but yeah, I complain because I love the game. I wanted to improve even further. I wanted, as a player, to experience better gameplay for myself and for other people. Yeah, I kind of planned this to only be a short 30-minute episode, but yeah, I guess since I have trouble focusing without Ayumu around me, I guess this is this is what if you let a 30 years old introvert get the mic for himself and tell his story. So yeah, if you guys wanted us to talk about anything, like if you have anything we want to talk about when one of us is not available, and maybe we can talk a little bit more in depth while not really having someone else to bounce off from, you can always send your suggestions, questions, and whatever, and messages to our email at therefreshsteppodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, that has been everything from me this week. Hopefully next week you can be Ayumu can join us again, and yeah, it will probably be much better than this. But yeah, regardless, I wish you all a nice week going forward, and we'll see you all in the next turn. Bye bye.